On March 22, 1945, Frank Lloyd Wright delivered a lecture where he described what organic architecture is. Hello everyone and welcome to Archanime, an architecture space that focuses on sharing architecture theories and philosophies. He went on to discuss the meaning of organic architecture, democracy, law of nature, and the importance of experimenting in architecture. The following are an excerpt from the original speech. Before we begin, make sure that you are subscribed to our channel for more content like this, and now let us investigate. I wish you would stop speaking of architecture as modern architecture because it does not mean a thing. Anything is modern that is built at the present time. I do not know how it ever got started, but I suppose because everything was antique. Even the things we wore came across in the same fashion, so we thought it was marvelous that we should have everything modern. Well, maybe it is. But as to modern architecture, let us drop it and let us take modernistic out and shoot it at the sunrise. The meaning of organic architecture. Organic can merely mean something biological, something in which the part is to the whole as the whole is to the part, and which is all devoted to a purpose consistently. Then you have something that can live because that is vital. Nothing can live without an entity. Organic architecture seeks entity. It seeks the completeness in idea and execution, which is absolutely true to method, true to purpose, true to character, and as much the man who lives in it as he is himself, so that he loves it, lives it, and boasts of the fact that his house is the only house ever built, and he believes it. And it is, for him, if organic architecture has done its proper work. So, you see here, you have the center line of something that goes back thousands of years. It is an entire change in the whole thought of the Western world. Because Western architecture and what we call classic architecture was merely a block of building material sculptured into some kind of style or fashion from the outside. Well, here was something that rejected all that and got inside the thing. And when you get inside with that idea, you are inside the man. It should become the culture of democracy because it is the first statement of a democratic principle. If it should ever become recognized by education, poor background education, such as we have had in this nation, we would grow, we would live. We could not be destroyed as all these other civilizations have that were monarchic, that were founded upon dictatorships or state socialism, because there you have the core of a democratic faith in man. Faith in the man, in him as individual, which we have co-founded personality with individuality. Individuality is that thing which makes me me and makes you you. Regardless of your personal appearance, something inside that stands up within and will not sell out. Something within that gives the man faith. For others, he wishes what he wishes for himself, and he will stand staunch and straight to get it for himself so that all men may have it. That is the essential phase of democracy, and it is what we had once upon a time set up as an ideal to follow. That is the basis of this ideal of an organic architecture. The architecture of democracy. Today, democracy has built nothing. When democracy builds, it will be when we recognize the nature and character of the idea that we call organic architecture. You want to know what constitutes physically this thing we call organic architecture. I have been asked time and again what the root of the thing is, but I am not going to do it, and I have never done so. To show you something is very dangerous. It is dangerous to show somebody something you have done because they think that is it. You show somebody a house totally unsuited to his wants and it is nothing he would care about, but there is something there. If he would look for the basis for it or examine the circumstances which caused it to come into being. But no, they will look at it and say, would I like to live in that? No. And so it is with everything else. You show them a church and they want you to build a museum. Well, they do not think that would make a good museum. I think that time has come now when you, young architects, should begin to think for themselves. It is only by thinking and challenging the state of things at every step, at every point, that you can never get anywhere, because you are embedded today in the greatest conflicting mass of circumstantial evidence to the contrary that ever existed. It has been deplorably fostered and developed until you cannot trust anything you see or hear unless you have had some contact and made some connection with this inner thing which is called the law of nature. Law of nature. Now, when you can make a proper study of the law of nature for yourselves, you do not take it as something that you know. You can know all the books have to tell you and not be able to do one single thing. You have to acquire this intimacy by way of contact with doing, and only by doing will you learn. You know that architecture is the only proof of the quality of civilization that we have ever had. There is nothing else. As a man builds, so he is. As a nation builds, so is that nation. What would they find? There would be nothing except water closets, bathtubs, and wash bowls. Anything else? We have nothing. Now, having nothing, why should we not be humbler? Why should we be so confoundedly arrogant? Was it not one of the great Greek philosophers who told us why nations perish? First, success, then arrogance, then downfall, and such arrogance as ours cannot fail to be on the threshold of either an awakening or downfall. Why not wake up? I believe we should. And I believe it lies in the hands of architecture to be the prophetic cornerstone of that awakening, because until you get them to first principles and get back willingly to the beginning of the thing you are interested in, you are not going to really learn anything about it. They have said of me that I was experimenting when I built something. It is true. I have never built a building that was not an honest experiment, but an experiment in the interest of the man I built it for, which makes a difference. We have now reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for making it to the end, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and we will see you in the next one.